What's going on, guys? Shawn here with Attack of the Clock Racing. Hello, Weld.com viewers. In this episode, we're going to show you how to make a super awesome driving simulator. Alright, so in our previous roll cage episodes, we go into how to build a roll cage for your race car. In one of the episodes, I mentioned building a roll cage is not where you start. So Warren, my main man, hit us with some B-roll. Full tube chassis race car, a lot of intercooler piping, a lot of titanium exhaust, a lot of custom brackets and mounts, and again, more roll cage chassis work, charge piping, exhaust, that kind of stuff. So we want to show you guys how to do all of this stuff. You don't start here, but we can show you a lot of tips and things to get you started. That way you can, at some point, get to this level. Thanks, Warren, for that awesome B-roll. He's our editor. We built this sim chassis for one of our really good customers, which we have all really good customers. But our customer, Chris Johnson, he has a 91 or 2 Nissan Skyline GTR. We race the cars 5 or 6 times a year at best. So in order to have everything feeling right and feeling racy, we use simulators a lot to make sure all of those muscle memories translate over to an actual real race car. When we say simulator chassis, and the reason being is because everything is set up just like the chassis on a race car. So the seat is at the same angle as the race car. The steering wheel and depth of it is, even though we have some adjustability, is at the same angle. Pedals are at the same angle. Everything is just as it would be in the race car. So we can hop back and forth and hopefully have that same muscle memory. You don't want to go tackle a roll cage right out of the gate. This is such a fun project where you can be creative and artistic, also follow similar rules that a roll cage would have, and really hone in those skills. And by the time you're done with this, you're gonna have a really good idea, and you're gonna have that confidence when you go to build your roll cage, how to do it correctly. Alright, so we have our sim chassis all tacked together. Marcus did a great job of bending everything. It looks sick. This is exactly how the same techniques that we would bend our roll cage for a race car. And so yeah, we've got our laser cut pieces in. So this holds the steering setup. We got some pretty trick gussets. It said customer's name and his number. And yeah, so we're at the point where everything's tacked together. And one of the little tricks that I use when I tack things together, especially tubing, is I normally triangulate 4 tacks. And so what that does is gets me in and out for minimal tack, but it also lets the part when you start welding on it, that's minimal amount of moving, because whether you know it or not, when you weld stuff together, especially not in a jig, things do tend to grow and move a little bit. But if you can triangulate your tacks, I have found that the parts are less likely to move around on you whenever you go to fully weld it together. And this is a hypercritical area. The steering setup fits just perfectly in there. Roughly about 17 degrees on our steering box. Serious amount of adjustment. We can really fine tune forward, backwards. You can see the slots we made in our laser cut brackets. Our pedal box is at the right angle. Our seat brackets in place, and we have it dialed in. And hopefully everything looks and feels just like the car itself. Our monitor mount's all good. We need to make a bracket for that. Past that, this is our sim chassis, ready to be fully welded up, and looks really good. All right, so we've got our seat mocked up, our pedals are mocked up, our steering's mocked up. And this is about where we want it. This feels pretty much like the car. We've got some adjustments we can make with the steering. With our laser cut bracket, we can make some adjustments with the seat, angle it, stuff like that. Pedals are fixed. We know that's where they're supposed to be. But we can make some minor adjustments because in the car, you can make some minor adjustments with the column. You can also make some minor adjustments with the seat. So we want to be able to make sure we can do those same things with the sim. But overall, looks good, feels good, all the angles are right. And yeah, hopefully you can't tell if you're in the car or you're on the sim. Alright guys, we just got our sim chassis back from the powder coaters. It's seafoam green, just like the GTR that we're trying to mock all of this up to be an exact kind of feel replica. Let's talk about the geometry of the sim chassis. The idea is to have the driver practice in the sim, and a lot of those things come over as the right feel. So we have to make sure the seating position, the attachment for the steering wheel base, all of those angles and the foot pedals, all those need to be the exact same as the car. We spent a lot of time making sure all of those feels and angles were dialed in. So let's get into a couple little details. All right, so we went with the Fanatec Club Sport V2 pedals, lots of adjustability. We've got all the geometry just like the car itself. We've got these little things that vibrate and all that kind of stuff to make you, when you go over a rumble strip or anything like that, or the engine, you kind of feel that and get that continuous immersion around you. All right, so we've got our customer, good friend, Chris Johnson's name and number. This is a really cool gusset. Not only is this a good detail, but we would do something like this on a real roll cage chassis. Yeah, so we've got these nice plastic caps. They just push right in. We have these laser cut GTR logoed caster bases. We got some really cool casters that allow you to push the SIM card around, but also lower it down onto feet so it's nice and sturdy. So I think next steps are putting this thing together. All right, so we have our Sawbelt Titan seat in. This is just like the seat that's in the race car. The only difference is this one does not have the wraparound halo or head restraint, but other than that, the feel sitting in this will feel the exact same as sitting in the real race car. Next thing up on the list is we're gonna pop the steering assembly on. Then it starts to look like a race car. All right, so we have our Fanatec podium wheelbase installed. And then I think the next steps are just getting this thing on the ground. You son of a... Easy as that. All right, so we have our monitor mounted. Some people do 2 screens, 3 screens, whatever. But right now we're keeping it simple with this single screen. We've got a lot of adjustability on it. It's got a nice mounting point on our chassis. We've got our casters on. It rolls nice and easily, so if you need to get it around your house or whatever. This is really kind of a fun project to go all out with, because that way when you do transfer these skills over into a roll cage, you feel kind of at home with it. And with a sim chassis, it's not too intimidating. It's a lot of artistic balance and ideas, but it gets you used to coping tubing and gets used to your whatever tube bender you get. But overall, this is a really cool project. It's a fun one. It's one that you can knock out relatively quick. You got instant gratification, plus it gets you racing every night or every weekend instead of your race car sitting in your garage. All right guys, so I hope you enjoyed this episode. This was a real fun one. Not hypercritical on safety. Is a lot of just doing cool stuff, cool bins and stuff like that. Ultimately making something that you can go racing every night with. All right, so I want you to follow Weld.com on all their social media platforms. Make sure you press the subscribe button. Helps me out quite a bit, helps the channel out. Also in the comments, I want to know, are you an iRacer guy or girl? Or do you like Forza or Gran Turismo? What is your sim platform of choice? Yeah, make sure you follow me on social media at Shawn B26 and our race shop, Attacking the Clock Racing, on Instagram and Facebook. Until the next one, I'm Shawn Bassett with Weld.com. We'll see you.